Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vike Spice episode 2. My name is Karan, and I am here with my bro, Sanka. What's up, Sanka?
Hey everyone, how's it going? We're back for another week and it's good to be back.
So let's get the conversation rolling. We got a few things we're going to talk about. Sanka, what do you have in mind to start out the show today?
Firstly, I think we should just say thanks to everyone who listened to our podcast last week. We had over 100 listens, which is pretty cool because I remember saying to you when we started this, like, if I get 10 people listening to me, I'll be really happy. So 100 is pretty awesome. So thanks everyone for that.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's been great to see the support, having everybody reach out, say that they liked it, that they heard the podcast on their commute to work, and all the feedback, and people just sending in questions. It's been great to see people active and, pitching in and helping us out, make this grow slowly but steady.
Yeah, and a lot of people commented that it's not nice that they can hear a podcast with swearing. I don't know what the fuck they mean. We don't fucking swear, do we?
I mean, I said fuck like once. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
like,
yeah, because I watched this what do you call it? It's kind of like an unboxing YouTube. It's Unbox Therapy. I think it's pretty famous.
yeah,
They unbox like all these tech gadgets and stuff. And the guy, he's a Canadian, right? And he is super like nice. He never swears. And in one of his podcasts, he just started swearing for no reason. And when if you swear on YouTube, you don't get finance. You don't get like any money.
right.
And it was awesome seeing that guy who you think is all super nice just say fuck like 5 times in the span of 45 seconds. It's amazing.
Yeah, so does that mean we're not going to get any money for this? We're just doing this for the hell of it,
I
for
mean,
the laughs. Yeah,
I mean, you guess.
yeah. There's got to be some adult sites out there that want to sponsor us, right? Come on.
Yeah, some fuck-friendly sponsors for sure.
Yeah, fuckyourfriend.com. There you go. Right. Anyway, let's get into this week. So Giants Vikings. What did you make of the game?
So this is one thing I want to talk about a little more in detail. So this is one of those games that I think everybody was very cautious about reading too much into. Now the Vikings played really well, but I feel like there's a few things that have to be talked about that are still question marks. And we were talking about Xavier a little more ahead in the podcast, but stuff like I'm still not convinced with Kirk. I still have my issues with the offensive line. I feel like the defense got caught the few lucky breaks on Sunday, and then the fact that even though the game was well executed and the team played pretty well, it's not like everything is fine. I feel like the whole situation where we were exactly a week ago is just on pause. The whole Stephon situation, Adam being pissed at Kirk being a total idiot, all that stuff is on pause. It has not ended. It's not gone away. It's just on pause. And a bad loss on Sunday just brings that all back, and we're back to where we were last week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just it. We didn't answer many questions. It's always nice to get a road win. I know that there's a lot of like people out there going to put a lot of caveats like, yeah, it was against the Giants, it was against a rookie quarterback. The defense is shocking and so on, and Zim has Shermer's number. But a win is a win, and I think we just got to take that. But you're right, we haven't answered any questions. I mean, is Kirk any better? Is the O line improved? Is our defense firing again? It's all those questions won't be answered until we get a decent opponent. And Eagles are probably going to be that decent opponent this week. So I mean, we'll talk about that game in a little while. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange game where we didn't like come out and completely dominate. Like I thought Atlanta and Raiders, we just came out and first half we just went, right, this is it. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to get so many scores, and that's it. Just and our defense will shut you down. Like this wasn't it. It was a lot closer than people thought. But I guess the positive is we took care of business. We got the win, come back home, and that could be the difference. If we stay unbeaten at home, now we're suddenly a 9-7 team rather than an 8-8 team. And you sneak a couple more wins here and there, and suddenly you're a 10 win, 11 team win team. So it's yeah, I think it's you're right. We haven't answered anything, but at least we didn't lose. That's the positive of
So
it.
the one thing I want to add into that regarding this Giants game is that so the offensive line. played well against subpar competition. I mean, people say that the pass rush is not that bad. It's still the Giants. You know what I mean? It's still the Giants. They're still New York. They still suck, right? And I was looking at a short, like I think I just saw somebody breaking down, Elf's game on Sunday, and the grading for him wasn't that bad. Like it was pretty solid grading, and people said that he didn't actually do that bad, but he didn't pass the eye check on Sunday because I felt like the one guy who constantly kept getting pushed was him. And now it becomes a fact of now, okay, so if he actually had a bad game, he starts to become a liability. He starts to become something that can drag you down when it matters.
Yeah, and I think the O line, I'm not overly convinced that Elfline's best position is left guard. I know he wasn't that great at center, but then he's still learning to be how to be a left guard, and that's the problem. Effectively, we have a lot of young players on that line, and you see like there was a good clip. I can't remember who posted it, but against the Raiders, Eric Wilson, who is a great player for us, but by no means he's our best linebacker. And he busted through one of the best centers in the league. So Raiders clearly have the best center in the league, right? Busted straight through him and harassed the running back. So every offensive line out there is going to have shit moments like that because let's face it, the defense is also going to get some points over you. So but Elf line, you have those bad moments more than you have the good moments, and that's what everyone is getting worried about. It's like, when is this kid actually going to take the next step and just go, no, I am a solid left guard here. I'm going to take care of whatever's in front of me in the running game, in the screen game. I'm going to get up the field and block it like I'm supposed to. I'm not sure if he's taken that step yet, and being in year 3, you kind of start to worry about him.
Yeah, but then the issue becomes it's not only him, because even Riley Reef is pretty bad. Because I mean, he had a good game Sunday because the Giants again suck. But anytime you put any competent, edge rusher against Riley Reef, he gets beat. He's on skates most of the game. So then it's funny because you have someone in Bradbury who we still don't know how good or how bad he's gonna be. And then you have the right side of the line, which is amazing because you got Klein and you got O'Neal who are playing out of their minds. They're the two guys who are playing amazing right now. That's the two guys that I have no doubts about this season. O'Neal is still yet to allow a sack,
Yeah, yeah,
in his whole career. And then Klein has been awesome since he debuted with the Vikings.
yeah.
Then
He,
you kind of flip it over and then you see how bad the left side of the line is, and then Bradbury's a question mark, and then you think, so then what do you do? Because the Trent Williams trade isn't happening, I think, anymore. You really have nowhere else to go except game planning around the shit you have on the left side.
Yeah, and we had a question about this actually from Canary Yellow at Kevin Sayer asking us, what is our opinion on the A line? Are we because we're fans, right? We don't know what assignment these guys have and what they're supposed to be doing. So we're just looking at them like, oh, they got beat. But sometimes, I'm not sure if you remember a couple of years ago, Remmers got beat really bad because he thought he was running a certain play where he had to get upfield. But Kirk was holding on to the ball for a bit longer because he was running a different play, and Kirk just got sacked straight away. So sometimes you just think, actually, is there just a miscommunication between the QB and the O line of what they're meant to be running? So it is difficult to say 100% of the time that the O line is shit. But if you had basically the power right now, would you get Trent Williams in?
What I would do is so this is gonna be funky, but I'd try to give Xavier to the Redskins
Right.
and try to get Trent and maybe a third or fourth or something.
You
Because
think Trent Williams is worth that much?
I think Xavier's contract is worth that little.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because even though the guaranteed money is over, the cap hit is still pretty. I mean, this might not kind of agree with everybody, but I think so. It's not what I would do, but I think that's the one thing the Vikings could do to kind of help your cap situation and kind of get a good player.
Yeah. But I think Trent Williams got a decent cap hit as well this year. So
I think
that
it's
would
yeah. I mean, I can check over the cap, but I think it's reduced because of a bunch of bonuses that he's missed because he hasn't made any training camp or any practice, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And now that Jay Gruden's been sacked as well, surely
Exactly.
Washington they're not the season is lost for them, so they
They're in
might
a
as well start
full-blown
building for
rebuild.
the
Man.
future, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're in a
You
full-blown
know,
rebuild at this point.
and if we're getting Trent Williams back, I want Case Keenum back as well. That
So,
guy is the best backup in the league, right? I'm not having any arguments against Case Keenum. I love that guy.
okay, so before we go into the Keenum thing, the apparently the cap hit for Trent is 3.5, which
Really?
is it's this can't be right, but there has to be something. I
Fuck,
mean,
if 3.5, yeah, I'm cutting someone right now and trading for him.
yeah, because this might be wrong because his cap hit last year was 13.8, and this year just bumps down to 3.5 because I think he missed out on a bunch of like
Right.
bonuses and stuff, you know.
That's crazy. But yeah, yeah, it's exactly. So that's one thing they could do to make things better, right? And you got to make it. You got to give your quarterback the best chance because you saw when he had time, he was able to make those throws. He was able to put in the right plays, and that's why Thielen had a monster game. That's why Dalvin Cook had a great game as well because when the O line is good, everything else just works.
Yeah, and piggybacking on the comment you mentioned about, what we could do, I think so if you get somebody like Trent who can start immediately at left tackle, you either move Reef at guard to play left guard, or you just say fuck Reef, fuck Elf, let's go in and use Dakota Dozier at left guard 'cause he hasn't looked that bad.
Yeah.
And then what you mentioned about the sorry, I'm kind of like cutting you out, but the point you mentioned about you mentioned the whole game planning and how you don't really know. Right, that makes sense, but that justifies maybe one or two bad plays a game.
Mm,
Not even a game. It's one or two bad plays every now and then. Because O'Neal, so if out of the blue somebody just brushes through somebody like O'Neal or Klein and sacks Kirk, you're like, okay, that has to be something more than meets the eye.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
people like Elf and people like Riley, they're just constantly getting beat. Sorry about that. They're constantly getting beat. They're constantly put on those skates. They're constantly allowing pressures and sacks and hits. And eventually it stops being something that, hey, it might be a margin of error. It might be, we gotta give some kind of margin to it being some type of error in the game plan or just miscommunication. But then that goes out the window when you're giving up 8 pressures a game. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. 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 I agree. There's got to be. So, sometimes you just realize that the guy's not very good. Um, Yeah, and I'm always optimistic, but the fact that Bradbury is okay, and he is just going to get better hopefully, and the right side of the line, like you said, is so much better than it was 2 years ago. I think that's positive now. At least rather than having to fill 5 holes, we've only got 2 holes to fill, right? So it's a little bit better. Um, but right, let's move forward because we touched a little bit on Xavier Rhodes. Do you think he's past it now?
Yeah, I think he is because last year he didn't look good, and he's not looking good this year. Zimmer was publicly shown like screaming at him on the sidelines on Sunday after that touchdown that he allowed early in the game. And now you're thinking, okay, so if the Vikings move on from Xavier, be it this year before the trade deadline, be it next year before the season starts, the depth chart for the cornerbacks kind of gets iffy. The whole situation becomes pretty iffy. Because you still have Mike Hughes on contract, and um you still have Holton Hill with contract, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, Mackenzie and Trey are in contract years, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
both in contract years, right? So that means that you got to resign either one or both of them or none of them. Then the issue becomes, okay, fine. So let's say in the kind of between best and worst case scenario, the Vikings release Xavier Rhodes, right? The thing with that is it opens up the cap space a little bit, but then now you still can't sign both these guys. So then let's say you get McKenzie, right? Let's say Trey is gone, Xavier is gone. You get McKenzie, Holton, and Mike Hughes. That's not a bad cornerback depth chart, but it's still not what you had the year before and the year before that, where you had five capable starters, and now you only have two and a half.
Yeah, yeah. But I think if Xavier is not the best player on that cornerback depth chart, you got to be looking to sign your best player, right? At the moment, I mean, Trey Wayne's got beaten. I think at the start of the game, he Sterling Shepard burned him on a route as well. So the thing, I don't even know who the best cornerback at the moment is. I mean, if you had to, if you really made me rate out of them, I'd probably give it to Mike Hughes because he's been
Definitely.
really good since he's come back. But right, what would you do? You put Mackenzie Alexander in the slot, you put Mike Hughes on the outside, Trey Wayne's on the other, and then have absolutely no depth behind it because if one of them gets hurt during a game, you got
Fucking Chris Boyd ready to come in, then we're
yeah,
fucked.
and something called an EPS, which I'm sure is an STI, but fuck, he's been diabolical, right? So it's yeah, the cornerback depth is an issue, but which is weird because fucking Zimmer every minute you log onto the Vikings draft and he's been getting a corner off in the first round. So I don't know how we haven't got more decent corners on our depth chart at the moment.
No, I think the reason we're not bad is because Zimmer has a mentality. Because if you think about it, he has gotten good. He's invested quite a few draft picks, and the only reason we even made it to last year with all the injuries we had on the on the back side of the defense was because we have a fuck ton of cornerbacks. You
Yeah,
know, because let's say you don't take Mike Hughes and you don't take Mackenzie Alexander in those two drafts. You only got Trey Waynes, Xavier Rhodes right now, and Holton Hill, who just was a crapshoot.
yeah,
And you wouldn't even have Holton right now because he'd be suspended. You'd be with Xavier, Trey, and you'd be about to extend both of these guys because you got nobody else.
yeah, yeah.
But now they should become so now you have so I think you have to send McKenzie because he is a slot corner. You don't get those nowadays that easily. He's a
Mm.
fucking good slot corner. You don't let those guys go. Trey can be replaced. They can just make Xavier stay, kind of just ride with it, and then Mike Hughes becomes a starter. Or you got Holton Hill, who was really good last year. I mean, they have options. I think Trey Wayne is the one guy I think I see out. I don't think they resign him because he's gonna ask for a hefty price tag.
Yeah,
And
he's definitely the odd one out of that bunch at the moment.
I mean, I love him. He's a good player, but I think at the end of the day, we rather stick to Xavier's cap-friendly contract. Getting McKenzie might be a little cheaper. I feel like he might be a little cheaper. And then you got guys like Mike Hughes and Holton who are still on rookie contracts. So when the time comes, you might have to resign them.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's the thing. So I mean, the Vikings have options, and I feel like the team itself is going to look so much different next year compared to what we're seeing right now. It's going to be significantly different.
well, if we lose a lot more games, then they're just going to blow the whole shit up, and we'll have more misery.
Yeah, if the Vikings go like if they miss the playoffs, they might not even miss the playoffs. If they go like I don't know 6-10,
Yeah,
somehow I don't expect them to go that bad to do that bad. But let's say they do, I feel like they have to blow it up. They might have to because I don't know where you go from there. Because if you go 6-10, it's because the worst has happened. You have lost the locker room. Kirk's playing like total fucking shit.
mm,
Stefan is back to being pissed off. Adam is back to being pissed off. Zim's defense is not working. So it obviously depends on the the surrounding situations when it happens. But if the team only goes if the team goes 3-8 for the last stretch of the season, that means the worst has happened and you have to blow it up.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I don't think we will. I think I'm still very optimistic that we'll finish like 12-4 or 11-5, go into the playoffs in February, turn up in Miami, knock over New England, and then have a massive parade. I think that's what's going to happen. It is
I,
simple. Just keep it simple.
I hope so, man. Because I mean, if the Vikings somehow make it to the Super Bowl, I am driving down to Miami. I will I will sell my liver if I have to, but I will be at that game.
I'll swim over, man. It'll be fine.
Might reach for like
Uh,
next year's Super Bowl, but okay.
yeah. Right, next week, Eagles. What do you make of them?
Honestly, I feel good about this game for some reason. I feel good because I think because it's at home, and I feel like this is where the Vikings either shit the bed or turn the page on a season. You know?
Yeah, and same for me. I'm really positive about the Eagles. I think they're a good side. They're a really good defense, but I think they're really good against the run game, which Zim is going to have to change a few things up because he's got two world-class wide receivers that just he needs to feed. And you saw like when Stephon got the ball, yards after catch, he's amazing at running through people, right? And that's what surely that's the game plan. You're not going to run the ball down the Eagles' throat, so you got to plan it better. You got to air the ball out. Kirk, use that fucking arm, right? Give him the ball and just say, right, Kirk, use that fucking you like that mentality that you say helps you. You're getting paid $84 million. Why aren't you using that every fucking week? I don't know, but he came out in his pod saying, "Oh, I play better when I have a chip on my shoulder." Fucking have a chip on your shoulder then. Pay someone to have a fucking chip on your shoulder every week. Just have someone shouting abuse at you constantly in your headphone. What a dick. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. But I think Eagles, uh, for me, I'm really positive. I think we'll go in there, it'll be a close game, but sneak out a win and then just start building momentum for the, like we said, we got a tough stretch. Then we got Lions, then we got the Redskins. So it's just getting that momentum into those games and getting some wins under our belt.
Yeah, and the Eagles secondary is fucking abysmal, man. It's really really bad. Like they're bad. Against guys like Diggs and Thielen, they shouldn't stand a chance. You know?
Right.
I think the game plan has to be man attack through the air because if you're constantly getting the air, you know, yards through the air, the run should open up as good as the front seven might be because they might have linebackers dropping a little more, you know. But then the issue becomes part of the offensive line can't hold up against that front four. That's the issue. Because
Yeah.
then the thing is, what if you have Stephon and Thielen open all day, like against Chicago, open all day? But then the timing, like Kirk doesn't have the time to look down the field or just look at a second read or whatever. You know, his first read might be blocked or might be covered on his first read or on the first second he reads it, and then he doesn't have time to look at his second guy. And it's a sack or he just throws it away or again a dump off to CJ Ham.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful that what happened in Chicago, kind of slowly pops back in. You can't let that happen. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
come back. You gotta come on. You gotta chuck the ball, chuck that motherfucker down the field, and get the job done. That's all you gotta do. You gotta help out Kirk. Have Kyle block, have or Smith block a little more. Help him out. Game plan around pass first, run second for this week. Cause this week, so the mentality the Vikings should go every week is we can pass and we can run. We game play according to our what the opponent is, and this team that we're playing on Sunday is a good run defense. So it becomes fuck the run. Let's start out and let's chuck it down the field and let's get some fucking yards. Let's score and let's put these guys on their heels and beat the fuck out of them. That's how simple it is.
Yeah, and especially after a game where the play action works so well, you have to stick to that plan because that is Kirk's bread and butter, right? Just tease the defense, keep them on the back foot, thinking that you're going to be running the ball, especially after the fact that we've ran the ball so much as well. And everyone's going to be expecting that. You feed off that play action, go by yourself, a split second longer, and get that ball out quickly. And you're right, especially with um, what's our wide receiver three called? BC. With him coming through as well, it's not just Thielen and Diggs that you've got an option for. You've got a third option there. Irv Smith is getting more and more involved in the game as well. So you're right. I think air it out to win against the Eagles. Beat the flying shits at their own game.
I think one more thing. So what the Vikings have to be careful with this week is the PA. I mean the play action, but the play action rollouts.
Yeah,
Because sorry, the only reason that worked against the Giants is because they suck. You know, because if the game plan includes a few rollouts, a few boots, you have to be very careful. because those were blown up against Chicago. Those were blown up against Green Bay. They blew those up and they read them. So Vikings have to be very careful to get overconfident with that specific play call. They have to know that okay, this might not work, man. So let's before we do this, let's plan and let's use something that won't have a quarterback hit in point 0.2 seconds and fumble the ball. So you gotta, even though you gotta go out, you gotta attack with a play action, you have to still be very careful with what type of play action you're calling.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think we saw Kirk always rolls to his right, and teams are getting smart to that move as well. So he's got to be a bit smarter where he does it as well when you call that play. But yeah, what do you think the score is going to be?
Damn, you got me off guard, man. Let me think. I mean, I think we win the game. I think it's not as comfortable as we think, but I think a solid. I want to say 24-14.
Yeah,
Vikings win.
yeah. I think I'd say something similar, like 21-17 or something. It'll be close, but we'll, time of possession, we'll win it down that way. So right, let's quick around the NFC North. The Bears lost in London. You're welcome. The Lions were on a bye, and the Green Bay Wankers look really good at Detroit. It's Aaron Rodgers has less touchdowns than Jones at the moment. And that's quite a funny stat. I'm sure if you remind Aaron Rodgers of that stat, he'll love that because he's a little child. But yeah, so that's what's happening in the NFC North. Right, week 5 questions that we've got so far from people. The first one, it's actually not off Twitter, and people on Twitter are wondering, hang on, how's Sanka got mates that aren't on Twitter? Well, yeah, I do have friends who are not on Twitter. Josh Handy messaged me saying, would you rather have 5 picks in the top 100 or 10 picks in the top 250? Because that's Rick's MO, right? He always backloads the draft and gets loads of picks in the 7th round. But the top talent is in the top 100. So which way around would you do it?
So are we talking top 250 in the draft or top 250 in the NFL?
No, top 250. So you've got 10 picks in the whole of the draft, or you've got 5 picks in the top 100. So you can only have one or the other.
If it's the draft, I'm taking the top 5, man. The top 100, 100%. Because it's a crapshoot in the draft, man. When you get into those later rounds, you just hoping one of them hits. Those top 100 players have, I guess, like if you look at it on a numbers situation, the chance of a top 100 player being a starter and whatever are higher than a 6th rounder or whatever. So I feel like you go with the top 100 5 players. That's what I would do.
Yeah, and that hasn't been Rick's strategy though. He's always just backloaded the draft, and maybe you just think, is it worth trying a different strategy? Is it worth gambling a few picks, from the later half of the draft and just moving up the board and getting those maybe a few more blue chip players? I know it's a crapshoot whether it's a number 1 overall pick to number 256. It's always going to be a bit of a crapshoot, but at least you're giving yourself more chance with a bit more talented players. So yeah, I agree with you there. Next question, Francisco Carvalho at FS Carvalho 12 says, will the podcast be in a weird British accent? I don't know what you mean, Francisco. It is better than being the special one with the Portuguese accent like you will have. Yes. Right. Next question, GBR at Emperor Bjork 2. Would you replace any of the management coaching staff at the end of the year if the season goes to shit? Would you?
I mean, we spoke a little about it earlier, saying that depending on how bad it goes, you're gonna have to blow it all up. And when you say blow it all up, I mean blow it all up.
Okay, so 10-6, but we don't make the playoffs. Would you blow it up?
Nah, I would blow it up. That's just competitive as fucking. That's the NFC being the NFC this season. But I don't think it gets to that. I don't think 10-6 would not be enough. It should be enough, but like that's if in the case that it isn't, I don't think it's the way to go.
Yeah. I'd be tempted if we're 10-6 and we don't make the playoffs, we'll keep the band together for another year and give it one last go with Kirk's finally in the contract, but draft a QB high up in the top 50 next year.
Definitely, a quarterback is a must in the draft next year. There is no two ways about it.
Yeah, agreed. Luke Renton at Renton Official. Obviously, we stick with Cousins right now. If you had a choice, who would you take at QB?
I
So I
mean,
think,
from anybody in the world, like
yeah,
anybody. Or,
yeah.
I mean, Mahomes. I don't think that's a question. I don't think you think about that twice. You take Mahomes.
Really? I'd go Russell Wilson, man.
Okay,
I
Russell
think,
Wilson's a good too. Yeah, but I
yeah,
think, I mean, I take Mahomes because the contract too, man. I mean, you gotta
that's true.
consider all those things.
Yeah,
You get that guy on a rookie contract, you can build a powerhouse of a team.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I love Russell Wilson, but his press conferences when he just like he just has this most bland statement at the end, just goes "Go Hawks." You can imagine him just going at the end, just going "Skull vibes."
Skull, like, oh, just pissed off. Just fucking like, oh, I gotta go say skull to these fuckers now.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I'd take Russell Wilson. You take Mahomes. I think that's definitely an upgrade on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
Cora at CMac09. What's your favorite way to eat a mango?
I'm gonna drink it, like in a smoothie or something.
Weird you say that, right? When I was little, my grandma used to make mango pulp in the summer in India, right? And those were like the best things ever. But she used to give me the seed, and I just have this memory of me being like a 6-year-old sitting in the kitchen while she's doing that and sucking on the seed. And man, that takes me back. I'd love to just sit there. It's messy as fuck, but yeah, it was so good on a hot summer's day out in India, man.
Can I be
Right,
honest?
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that you choked on a seat and you were like traumatized. After that,
Nah,
I was
nah. I
expecting,
love.
I was
Yeah,
expecting some kind of like at least slight trauma.
yeah. No trauma involving mangoes, man. I love mangoes. They're my go-to fruit. Um, right. Next question. Carrie at CarrieDoll14. Okay, fellas. What is the food spread across the pond for NFL game day? And she's saying their traditions are grilled meat, wings, dips, etc. Goes well with beers and Bloody Marys. So,
Yeah, I
what's
live
your
in the
go-to?
U.S. I mean, I live in the U.S., so I guess it's the same as hers.
Yeah, for me, the game day spread is getting the kids to sleep as soon as possible so I can watch the game. It's the shit thing is the game starts at 6 o'clock in the evening here, so I don't get to like I have to put the kids to sleep and stuff, and they go to sleep about 7, half 7. So by the time I actually get to sit down for a game, you know, dinner and everything's forgotten. I'm just snacking on whatever I can find in the cupboard. But if the timing was good, I'd probably have like chicken wings, um, whiskey. I really love whiskey, so that'll be my go-to drink.
So
Um,
Indian, Jesus Christ.
yeah, I'm like one of these old uncles. It's like, oh, beta, look at my whiskey with ice in it.
No,
Yes.
'cause it's funny. I had this work thing a couple months ago, and there's a bunch of Indian people, and I'm like, since I'm like kind of Hispanic at the same time, I love like having like rum and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I just said, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a rum, and everybody was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they all ordered whiskey. I'm like, okay, thanks, you fuckers.
Yeah. Who invited the tourist? Yeah. Right.
Literally, yeah, I got shat on for that rum comment.
Uh, Next question. Mayor Bear at AK Viking Girl. Three-part question actually. So first one, what do you make of the wink?
I don't think it's. I think it's like the best thing that could have happened, honestly.
Yeah.
That's as reinforcing of a sign you're gonna get from Stephon because he always winks, man. He loves winking when he loves Minnesota. He loves everything from Minnesota, and he winks all the time when it's good. He would not wink if it was something bad.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed in the Vikings beat writers that I didn't get a 9-page essay on what the wink means and the psychological impact that'll have on his teammates
I
and his
agree.
trade value, right? For me, it was a wink. He looked cool doing it. He does it all the time. I mean, I wish I was that cool doing a wink, but yeah. Next part of the question: do you think enough was done to quieten the noise? Never. We love
Wait, I
Mo.
think I think. Oh, she missed Stephon. Oh, I thought you were in the game. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you think enough was done to quiet the noise for the no for the game from the team? Yeah, no. We're always complain, right? We
Yeah,
always just whine
don't
about
worry.
something.
We
Yeah,
still got a long way to go.
yeah.
And then for Stephon, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think they'll have the parade downtown Minneapolis, and some fucker will go, "There's too much traffic. There's too much purple around here. Fuck, kill everyone. I hate this shit." That because we love complaining. I don't know what it is. We love complaining about everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, man. The thing with the game is it wasn't. It's we can never be too optimistic with this team. We can never leave our guards down. And I think we've learned this as fans of the team that the moment you leave your guard down, the moment you get cocky, that's when you get bitch slapped. The only
Yes.
season that has now happened was 2017. Every season that it was not 2017, every time we get a little optimistic, we say, "Hey, team's not bad. Hey, I think we turn the page." We go in and we get our asses fucking slapped, and season's over. So we gotta be as we were saying last week. We gotta be cautiously optimistic with this team.
Yes, I agree. And the third part of the question, who was your MVP against the Giants?
That was easy, I think.
Thielen?
Dalvin, man.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, Dalvin, he opened up things for Thielen.
He did everything on the run, on the in the air, man. He was all over the damn place. They
He
couldn't
also
tackle
fumbled
him.
though. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, I wanna give him the pass on that one.
yeah,
He's not that many fumbling issues. I mean, he fumbled a little bit at FSU,
yeah.
but still, like, I mean, in moments like it's funny because there was this one I was at the game once and he fumbled that exact same thing he did on Sunday. Exact only that instead of the left side of the field, it was the right side of the field. He fumbled it like at the fucking one or two. That was the most disappointing thing. I mean, he has I wouldn't say fumbling issues. It's not a concern, but it's just bad timing for him.
Yeah, I know, but at least the positive was he fumbled, and the next play we got a safety. So at least
Yeah,
we
exactly.
gave our defense something to do there.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why I don't hold it against him because
yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Right. Last two questions. Skull Light at Skull Light. Your thoughts on BC Johnson, and what his first touchdown dance should be.
Okay, so I think he's a solid number three at this point. I think we even though it's a little soon, I think we have a number three receiver at this point. I think we got one now. He
Mhm.
can get open. He doesn't have the dropsies like Laquan. He's a solid number three. And for the fucking dance, dude, I
Yeah.
got no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I think let's get Stephon to score first, then we can worry about BC.
I think he should just toss the ball back to the referee and just walk off like Barry Sanders does. It's like, here you go, I'm done. This is BAU for me. This is business as usual for me. I'm going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns, bitches. Get used to this. That's what his
Yeah,
celebration
that
is.
would be. I mean, I don't think he's gonna do that. The Vikings are pretty, loud with the celebrations. I expect something totally like weird to
Yeah.
happen if he scores. But I don't think he scores this year, honestly. I think he might score like one this year.
Mm. Yeah. I reckon he gets his first touchdown against the Eagles this weekend,
Oof,
because
that would be awesome. Because yeah, they suck. The secondary is so bad. I mean, they're so depleted.
yes.
The
Yeah.
Vikings should have a good air day. Kirk should have a good day. If he doesn't, I'd be worried.
All right, last question. Canary Yellow at Kevin Sayer again. Is flying across 6 time zones for 10.5 hours for 3 nights away from home definition of insanity or super fandom? Asking for a friend.
I
So
think
would
that's
you?
your moment to shine, bro. This is your moment to shine.
I really don't know what he's on about. I mean, no idiot would fly out on Friday night to go watch Eagles at the US Bank Stadium and then fly back on Monday again. I think that's stupid. So I have no comment on that matter. But I said that.
So are
So
you flying
that's
out on
it.
Friday, or when are you flying out? No, I'm just kidding.
So that's it from in terms of questions. I think that's it for the podcast. Man, that time flew by.
Yeah, it's been a solid 40 minutes, 43 minutes. We kind of went a little past last week's episode time frame, so it's fine.
That's okay. People still love us. And as always, thank you for letting us come in your ears and speak to you all next week.